Okay, who else was showing me your nails? Laura, you had the St. Patrick's Day nails on. Lovely. And Megan, you've got some St. Patty's ones on too. Ooh, I like how you did like a little strip on it. That's so fun and creative. Nice. Who else? I'm looking, there's so many hands. Oh, Amanda, you did it. You did one too. You did green and gold over the top, right?
It is the green one, and then I used the Irish luck one for the French tip, and then did the rainbow off for the halvesies.
Dang, girl. You guys are fancy.
It took an hour.
It what?
It took an hour. It wasn't easy.
Hashtag worth it.
Worth it.
Worth it for that awesome pick. Fun. Okay, well, we're just going to jump right in, you guys, because I have a ton of stuff to share, and I'm super excited to share it with you. We are going to be talking tonight about branding and social media, and I love to talk about those things, and they make a huge difference in your business, in any business, really. So this can apply to any business that you run, but especially to your Color Street business. So I am going to share my screen and share my slides with you guys because I'm a visual girl. So let me pull up my slides here. Can y'all see those? Let's see, view, present. Yes, give me a thumbs up if you can see those. But now I can't see you. Darn it, that annoys me. Yeah, thumbs up. All right, well, I'm just gonna show it like this. Because when I do it the other way, I don't think you can see my face, right? Can you see my face if I go full screen? Somebody unmute and tell me.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, well, let me just go full screen then. Okay, here we go. So yeah, first of all, I love branding and social media. It's just fun. I just love them. So anyway, we're going to break down. We're going to talk about personal branding and then team branding. All right. So personal branding is kind of tricky. You know, it's a lot easier to brand like a business. Like I used to run a photography business and it was easy. You just pick a logo, you pick your colors, and that was easy. Personal branding, you have to really have a strong sense of self, and that's a lot harder, right? But I love this quote by Rachel Miller. She says, your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So it's kind of how people describe you. And so your personal brand is the 3 V's. It's your voice, it's your vision, and it is your visuals. And I was listening to a podcast by Jenna Kutcher, and she was talking about how your brand is your legacy. And she shared a story about one of her good friends who had passed away. And when she was mourning that loss, she was going through his social media feed and just kind of remembering who he was. And that's when she had like an epiphany about how your brand and like your social media posts, those are your legacy, and they are kind of share who you are and what you stand for. They share your voice, your vision, and your visuals. So I loved that, and that's something that has changed my perspective as well. And so now, like, I started thinking, you know, my daughter is a teenager now, and she's on Instagram, and she watches my posts, and her friends watch my posts, and I try to think, like, what message do I want to leave to my children and my grandchildren when they look through who knows how long Instagram will last, but when they look through Instagram and Facebook and they remember who I was. And so I even so I'll talk about some of those things. So what are your 5 favorites? So I want you guys to kind of determine what are your 5 favorites? What things do you want to, what 5 things do you want to be known for and remembered by? What are the 5 things you want to be your legacy? And I have a worksheet that I'll share in our team. But you might want to be jotting down some ideas that you have on what are your 5 faves. So for me, those things are they are the 5 F's. These are my 5 F words, my favorite F words, and they are fitness, family, fashion. You can see these pictures here. So family, fitness, fashion, food. I'm a big foodie, and faith in self. I want to help empower women to feel confident and be confident. And so that's kind of the legacy that I want to leave behind. And in fact, I have a hashtag full of recipes that my daughter can look at if she ever, when she moves out, she can go to Kelly France Foods, and there are tons of recipes on there that I've posted. So that's kind of a cool legacy that I can leave behind. So I want you guys to start thinking about what legacy do you want to leave behind? So start thinking about those 5 things that you love to talk about and that people know you for. And one way to discover those is just to ask your audience. Like, ask, hey, you guys, I'm, doing an assignment, and I'm curious what things, what words you think of when you think of me, or what things or hobbies or things do you think of when you think of me. And in fact, I did this as well. And it's interesting to see what people say about you, because you perceive yourself as one way, but people perceive you as a different way, especially if they don't know you personally, if they haven't met you personally. So it's good to get their feedback. So now we're going to talk about team branding. And don't worry, I am going to go live in the Facebook group after this and just answer any questions about branding and social media. But we're going to plow through this because there's a lot to cover. So let's talk about your team brand. And I don't care if you have one person on your team or like 100. It's important to brand your team, okay? And the reason is because you want people to see that you are building a team, and you've got to fake it till you make it, right? So even when I had like a team of 5 people, I would talk about it as if it was like the best and most amazing and giant team ever, because eventually it probably will be. So you want to talk up your team, and even if that means talking up Team Nailed It, talking about the team community that you're part of and not necessarily the one that you have created yourself. So one way to brand your team is to have team colors, to have a team hashtag, to have team swag, okay? Now, don't get overwhelmed by all these things. You can build up to these things, but it's something to work towards. So I think you all know that we've got pink for our Team Nailed It colors, and I kind of have branded Team Nailed It with, we've got the pink shirts, which I'm actually moving over to mauve shirts, and they're fabulous, but they're still pink. And then we've got the, pink and white, like diagonal stripe is on almost everything I do. I try to pick like similar fonts, and we have our team hashtag, which is Team Nailed It. So just trying to brand your team so that people know, like, they know your team name. You want your audience to know your team name and kind of know your team colors, and just know that you have a team, right? And that they can join it. All right, so let's move on to social media. Social media is your reality show. So I want you to think of how you can make social media like your reality show. And you want it to be like a reality show and not an infomercial. So it's really important that you're sharing about who you are and what you're up to daily, and that you're not just like spamming people with color streak, because nobody likes to sit and watch infomercials. So your reality show can be sprinkled with commercials. Like, you can do an occasional Manny Monday, or I always do like a business blessing post once a week, but you don't want to be doing that crap every day, right? So let's talk about some basic social media tips. Social media. So like I said, it's your reality show. Think of it kind of like a photo journal. I know some top direct selling ladies that are in other companies who almost write it like a journal. I mean, they take just a shot of what they're doing, and then they'll write like super long posts. And I remember one of them telling me it's literally my photo journal. So It can be a reality show, photo journal, whatever way you think of it. But you're wanting to share like your life with others so they can, the whole point is for them to connect with you and relate to you so that they trust you and they want to hire you or they want to join you. So one super important tip is to get vulnerable. And I've talked about this before. It's so important to get vulnerable and share the things that you're struggling with. You don't want to be a Debbie Downer, obviously. Like, you don't want to air your dirty laundry, but it's so much more relatable when people share the things they are struggling with. And it can be simple things like mom life, or it can be like, you know, some deep stuff like depression or whatever, but sharing the things that you're going through, you'll be surprised. Those are the posts where people really, really connect to you. And those are the hardest ones to share, right? So, but as you get practice doing it, you will get better at it and it won't be as scary. There is, let's see, Josh Coates. He coaches a lot of direct selling women, and he says, this too shall post. So whenever you're having a moment where you're thinking, like, I just wish that I wasn't going through this, you know, where you're thinking this too shall pass, that's when you post about it. And you don't have to share all the details of what's going on, because some things are going to be really personal and private. But even just saying, hey, I'm going through something and here's how I'm overcoming it. That's how you always want to sandwich it with like positivity, so it doesn't come off as like a complaint or a Debbie Downer kind of thing. So saying like, hey, I'm going through something, but you know, I'm reading and listening to personal development and just trying to get through it or whatever. So you always want to share that positive way that you are trying to overcome it. So some way, and one thing that I do that really helps me get ideas for posts or just ideas for how to share my journey is to follow other rock stars in other direct selling companies. So I literally find rockstar. I mean, you probably know some people who are killing it in other direct selling companies. I will follow them. And like if you go to Facebook, if you go to their Facebook page, you can click follow and you can click make first or something like that. And that will be the first thing you see in your feed. And I love that because I'm like, dang, these girls know what they're doing. And so then I get ideas and it helps me. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to be annoying on social media, right? Well, the way to be not annoying is to add value. If you're inspiring people, if you're sharing your journey or your, you know, if you're being vulnerable, you're adding value to people's lives. So think of ways that you can add value to them. Maybe it's sharing a recipe. Maybe it's sharing like a little mom tip or a life hack or something like that. Anything that you think would help someone else, or just a quote. Quotes can go a long way, you guys. But just something that you think would help others. You'd be surprised how many people will say like, oh, like, thank you so much. I'm so inspired by that. So that's how you can post without being annoying. One thing that really helps me is to use daily themes as prompts. So I'll do like Manny Monday, Motivation Monday, Tip Tuesday, Wardrobe Wednesday, like Food Friday, Social Life Saturday. Start thinking of little trigger words that go with, you know, that are match that day of the week, and that will help you know what to post. Because sometimes we're like, well, I don't like, I mean, for me, like I work from home. My life isn't that amazing. Like I don't do, a lot of my stuff is pretty monotonous and similar to it was yesterday. But if you have those triggers, then you'll think, oh, it's Motivation Monday. I'm going to share a quote. So yeah. Let's see. If you can mute yourself, anyone that hops on, I can't mute you when I'm sharing my screen. Okay. The other thing is to pick maybe 3 platforms. So here's how I do it. I post on Instagram first because I think a lot of people struggle with posting on Instagram. So I start with Instagram. I'll do a post and then I literally copy and paste it to Facebook. Then I copy and paste it to my Facebook business page. So 3 birds with 1 stone. You don't have to have different posts for different platforms. Like it can literally be the same one, but you want to post it organically. So don't just post it on Instagram and then click share, because it won't be seen as much on Facebook. You want to post it on Instagram, copy and paste it, post it on Facebook. Does that make sense? And sometimes I'll even post it in my VIP group so that they can connect with me as well, because you want your customers to get to know you as well. You don't have to, I don't do that every day, just occasionally if it's something that I think they'll really connect with. The other thing I want to share is that it doesn't have to be in real time. Like you don't have to post things like right the moment that you did them. So on my next one, my next little bullet point here, it says to pull pics that you can pull from. So when you're having a good hair day, take a bunch of pics, or a good nail day, take some good pics and save those for future. I have like a pool of pictures that I haven't posted on social media that I will be, and that just makes it nice for those days when things are crazy or when you don't know what to post. You can pull from that pool of pics. And as long as the wording is authentic, maybe you took, like, for example, I'll give you an example. So I took a picture of me working out like a couple weeks ago. And then this morning I posted that picture and told them how I worked out today, which is true. But I took that particular picture a couple weeks ago. So you want to obviously be authentic and genuine, but just make your wording authentic, but you don't actually have to have all your posts be right that minute. In fact, when I went to the New York leadership retreat for Color Street, a lot of my posts were a day late. So they weren't happening in real time. So like the stuff that happened on Friday, I was posting on Saturday, which gave me time to really like be more intentional and decide what I wanted to post and when. And then another tip is to recycle posts from the past. So, you've got Facebook memories that pop up. If you're like, that was a dang good post, copy, save that image, copy the wording and mix it up so it's authentic and post it again. Like no one memorizes your posts, you guys, and it's okay to recycle those. Throwback Thursday is like an awesome day of the week because you can pull stuff from the past and post about it, or like Flashback Friday. So those are a couple social media tips. I want to cover Instagram because I think a lot of people don't use that as much as they could. And so I want to kind of really share how powerful Instagram is. Forbes magazine, oh my gosh, I can't even talk today. Forbes magazine said that Instagram is the world's most powerful selling tool. So if you are not on there, girl, you need to get on. So there are 500 million daily users. Are you one of them? And you guys, you don't have to, I know a lot of people will tell me like, well, I just don't get Instagram. Like that's just not my thing, or I don't. And I'm like, girl, if you're posting on Facebook, you can post on Instagram. It's the same thing. You post whatever it is you're going to post on Facebook, put it on Instagram first and then post it to Facebook. You don't just start sloppy. You don't have to do it perfect. I mean, Instagram is kind of more intended for like pretty pics, but there's a lot of people who are just posting everyday pics and killing it. So start sloppy. You're going to hear me say that a lot. So here's Instagram simplified. Like I said, if you can do Facebook, you can do Instagram. 3 birds, 1 stone. Just post your pic first on Instagram. So an example of an Instagram post would be like, here's a picture that I took that Stephanie took while we were in New York. And I posted it to Instagram and just did a quick little blurb. And then I pasted 30 hashtags and added the location. I said Times Square, New York. And that was it. And then I posted it to Facebook. Like, it doesn't have to be rocket science. Just keep it simple, and you can rock that platform as well. So let me talk about 5 ways to rock Instagram. Number 1 is to use stories. A lot of people my stories, when I post in my stories, they get way more views than my posts. So that means more people are seeing my stories than they are seeing my posts. So, and I love it because it's just an unfiltered way to show who you are in small little snippets. Like, it's only like a 15-second video that you share. And I love that you don't have to, look perfect. It doesn't have to be a perfect, it's more of like a behind the scenes kind of vibe. And so I just love it because I'm like, here's what I'm eating. Here's what I did this morning. Here's what my kids are up to. It's just more, I feel like it's more raw than Instagram posts are. And I feel like that's where people truly connect with you, when they start seeing those behind the scenes. And of course, paste your stories onto Facebook while you're at it, because now Facebook has stories. In 2017, Instagram stories became more popular than Snapchat. So I don't even use Snapchat. I just do my stories on Instagram, and sometimes I'll paste them on Facebook. I'll save it. You can download your video or your picture, and I'll save it, and I'll hurry and post it on Facebook stories. And then use your stories to share the business opportunity. So I have one that's called, I think it's called Nail Boss Life. If you go to my Instagram, which is Kelly France, Kelli France, you'll see that I have, now you can do highlights. So let me see if I can show you guys. It's a little tricky with, let's see. Okay, do you see these little circles right here? Those are your highlighted stories. So I have highlighted stories here that people can look and say, oh, Nail Boss Life. And I talk about and I have posts that share what my life is like as a nail boss. So that's a really great way to share the business opportunity. And I have that on my personal Instagram. And I also have a nail Instagram called Francie Pants Nails. I like to separate the two, but you can merge the two as well. Like, there's no right or wrong way. And if you have any questions, just write them down and ask me when I go live in Team Nailed It. All right, hashtags. Hashtags are really important to use nowadays, because now you can follow a hashtag. So for example, if you love, I follow a hashtag called Huga Homes. And so anytime someone uses that hashtag, it shows up, that picture shows up in my Instagram feed. So if you follow the hashtag Color Street, or if your prospective customers or stylists follow the hashtag Color Street and you pop up in their feed, they're going to see that. So that's why it's important to always add hashtags to your post. What I do is I post 30 hashtags in the comments, in the very first comment. So what a really simple way to do it is I will write them all out in my notes, the same ones, and then I'll just paste it. So you don't have to, you can customize the hashtag for the picture. I feel like that's more effective, but you don't have to do that. You could just have use the same exact hashtags every time if you are crunched for time. Another way that I use hashtags really quickly, that I post hashtags, is I created a keyboard shortcut. So if you have an iPhone, you go to settings and you go to keyboard. I think it's settings, general, and then keyboard. And you can create a shortcut and title it and add all the hashtags for it. And then that word turns into those hashtags. And I hope I'm not confusing you. You're going to have to kind of mess around with that. But it's just a keyboard shortcut that you can create. So hashtags are powerful. In fact, in my previous direct selling company, my upline found her upline in a hashtag. And I know like Leah on our team, she found one of her rock stars, Jenna found Leah from a hashtag. So hashtags are powerful, you guys. So make sure you're using those when you do posts. All right, let's talk about a few more ways to rock Instagram. Use a link tree. Now, I posted about this like a month ago, but I love it. I love having a link tree. So if you're not sure what a link tree is, basically, if you know, like when you go on Instagram, everyone gets one link in their bio, right? But if you go to linktr.ee, you can create a link that pulls up. It's almost like a splash page, and it pulls up and it looks just like this here. And do you see how this gives people? They can click on all sorts of different options instead of just one link, right? So I love it because I'll say, click link in bio, and they'll be like, oh, okay, I'm going to shop nail sets, or I'm going to become a VIP. So I think that's a really smart thing to do, and it is free. So, and you can customize the colors. So I have a YouTube video about that if you want to find out how to do that. And I have this on my personal Instagram as well as my Francie Pants Nails Instagram. All right, couple more tips for ways to rock Instagram. Use DMs, use direct messages. More than 375 million people now use Instagram DMs each month. That's like almost half of the users on Instagram are messaging people. So make sure you're one of them. You can connect with people. It's all about building relationships, right? So one way to do this is to comment on people's Instagram stories. So when you see their story showing up in the, like when you look on Instagram, there's all these circles at the top. Those are stories that are happening. When you see their stories, you can watch them. And if they say something, you know, if they show something that you connect with, comment, and it will start a DM and start a conversation. Another tip I have to give you guys that I was just doing today was I like to do the opposite, where I see who's been looking at my stories and I will message them, or I'll go and comment on their posts, because those are my people. Like the people who are watching my stories obviously connect with me somehow, or they wouldn't even care about what I'm doing. And so I look through, you can look through and see who's seeing your stories by clicking, it'll say seen by, and you can like click on that word seen by, and it will show up their names, and then you can go to their Instagram and just chit chat with them and or comment on their posts. So those are two really great ways to connect with people. And then finally, regarding Instagram, make your feed pretty. That's kind of important with Instagram. So you want to use good lighting when you take pictures. You know, use window lighting. Window lighting is powerful. Try to edit your photos so they're like sharp and they have nice color. And I like to use the app PicTapGo or VSCO to edit my photos. So, and just pick one, and once you get good at it, like it'll be like second nature. And when you edit, you kind of want to edit in a consistent way so that your feed has like a cohesive look. And so maybe use like the same editing kind of style every time and the same kind of tones. Like if you like, so use maybe warm tones or cool tones. You just want to have, you almost want it to look like a magazine. But don't let that overwhelm you either. I mean, it's a tip, but don't let that stop you from posting on Instagram. Because done is better than not done. I can't remember that quote, but you know what I'm talking about. 80% is better than 0%. And then mix it up. So I use an app called Snug. It's really cool. It's free. You can move your photos around and see how they look in your feed. So it's kind of cool. You can see how, like, oh, if I add this Nilfi here, that's going to look better than if it's here. So I'll kind of move things around, and that's the order that I post in based on the pretty, how good it looks in my feed. So I like to mix it up. I'll try to do like a selfie, like maybe a close-up picture on one, and then maybe like a group shot or full body on the next one. And then maybe a detail shot on the next one, because you don't want it just to be like giant head, giant head, giant head, or tons of people, because that just is like cluttery, right? So you kind of want to mix it up and just try to make it look nice. So let's talk about Facebook really quick. We have 8 minutes left to discuss Facebook. And then don't let me forget to show you the branding worksheet. So Facebook, on January 12th, Zuckerberg changed the algorithm again. And so things have kind of changed since last year. So here's some new things that you want to consider when you're posting on Facebook. Number one, in the past it used to be like post all the time, like 5 times a day, now 2 to 3 posts is probably the max that you want to do on Facebook. And you guys know, I always tease you guys, it needs to be like your stuff. Don't be posting everybody's like cat videos, right? You want to share authentic, organic stuff that you have created. Okay. Only occasionally should you share like a funny video or whatever. You want it to be, again, your reality show. So it needs to be your photo or a photo of you. You guys, get in the photo. So many of you, I see, I can't even find your profile picture when I'm like trying to shout you out. I'm like, where is their profile? I can't even see their face. Your profile picture needs to be your face, not with sunglasses. It can't be like super far away with like your kids crowded around you. I want to see your face so I know who I'm talking to. So take a nice selfie right in front of, get in front of the window, because that's good lighting. It will make your face look fabulous. And take a nice selfie and post it up there. Because people want to know who they're talking to and who they're, connecting with. All right. A little tangent there. Back to the bullet points here. Leave 3 hours in between posts. You don't want to do like all 3 of your posts in the morning. Kind of spread it out. So I would do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I like to, when you're trying to create a habit, attach it to something you already do. So when you eat breakfast, do a post. When you eat lunch, do a post. When you eat dinner, do a post. If you don't have time to do it during those hours, schedule it using a scheduler. There's like SyncShare and Hootsuite and all sorts of different apps you can use. I actually don't use those apps. I'm looking into them, but I mean, right now I just post like at the time, but it would be real nice to schedule out those posts. So you can look into that if you work full time and you just can't post during those times. Another little tip to beat the algorithm is to comment and interact 5 minutes before you post to kind of warm up your algorithm, especially before going live. Now, if you're trying to make this like a reality show, then guys, you got to go live. And I know it's scary because I don't love it, I'll be honest. But the more you do it, the less scary it gets. So one thing I do is I have to just count down. I do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is from the 5-second rule book. And I'll just like, all right, let's do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push live, and here we go. And I like to have little notes. So I'll make a Post-it note of what I'm going to talk about because I'm a nerd like that. But if you're great on the fly, then good for you. But that kind of helps me feel a little less scared when I know kind of what I'm going to say. So it's important to go live at least once a week, really, because that's what Facebook, you're going to be more relevant to Facebook if you're going live often. But when you do, make sure that you comment and interact 5 minutes before. And then as soon as you get off, comment and interact after going live. Like with the people that commented on your live video, make sure you're commenting and liking those comments that you got during the video. What else? Ask questions. This is the easiest way to post, you guys. In fact, in Team Nailed It, this is so funny. Yesterday, I accidentally posted favorite dessert, go. And I meant to put that in my VIP group, but I accidentally put it in Team Nailed It. And I was laughing because I instantly had like 30 comments. And I was like, oh my gosh, this just shows the power of a question. So ask questions on Facebook. And you'll get a ton of interaction, and then interact with the people. Be like, when people are like, I love cheesecake, be like, girl, me too, just interact with your audience. And then your post will be more seen if Facebook sees like, oh, this girl's legit, like people love her, she's relevant, she's going live all the time. Like, then they're going to make sure you're seen on more people's feeds. Because right now, Facebook just picks and chooses how often people are seeing your posts. So you want to kind of really try to beat that algorithm. Couple other tips. Facebook hates external links. So don't be like, hey guys, the spring nails are now available. Order from mycolorstreet.com/whatever your name is. You want to say, you want to maybe put the comment in the first post. And that way, your post will not be like not seen. Another thing is, now it's really important to build up your network, because your network is your net worth. So you do need, I was just talking to some of my leaders today. They were like, I'm doing everything that I should be, but it's like, I'm not recruiting like I want to be. And I'm like, girl, you need to build your audience, but make sure you're not adding more than 5 friends a day. So it's really important that you're adding 5 friends, and they can be friends of friends, but don't add more than 5 a day. So that's what I have for you. I also have a worksheet for you to do about branding that I will post in Team Nailed It. I'm going to get off and answer your questions, but we are out of time. So thanks you guys for watching. I hope this helped you, and we'll see you later. Bye.